Hey, soul survivors. This is a viewer topic response where they share their toxic relationship. And so he says, my covert narcissistic ex told me early on that she had a weird opinion when it comes to guys who had good, normal parents. I asked her to elaborate, and she said they're boring and oftentimes haven't done emotional work. And that is the truth, though, that they see. Being healthy as boring. And he goes, I never understood what she meant by boring, but now I think she was referring to how the relationship gets boring for her when there is no drama. And that is exactly it. So I don't know if she was diagnosed with NPD per se, or it could be possibly something else. Maybe she's borderline. A lot of times females can be borderline. But as far as either way, there's a lot of toxicity in those kind of relationships. So how is it boring to be loved? And what it is it's just consistent. You know, just like if you think about every day, you have this schedule, you get up, you go to work, you come home, you cook dinner, do the laundry, go to bed, and you just repeat it over and over. If you think about the thrill of going to the amusement park, the adrenaline rushes that you get, the ups and downs, and when you get bored in line, you just want that thrill. So they are used to the adrenaline rush. So you can have adrenaline rushes when you're on that roller coaster, or you can have adrenaline rushes when you're scared. Or we have a lot of adrenaline when we're anxious, trying to figure out what is going on with this person. So as they grew up in a very anxious, possibly threatened, or even just the adrenaline rush of being loved, or let's say everything fell into place for them, and they just had that grandiose, like, yeah, I am the best. It's a ego boost. So they need to feed that ego boost, or they need to feed that adrenaline rush, because that's when they feel normal. So if you think about whenever something has gone on with you where you get that adrenaline rush, it is meant for the fight or flight. Sometimes you fawn in it, but it takes you to a different level and you are in heightened alert. So they need to be in a heightened alert to feel normal because they've been through it for so long. And when things happen, even the tiniest little things can trigger things. So they will start nitpicking, and they need to stir things up, either to calm themselves and to rebalance it. They get calmer when we get more hyper. And it's really interesting on how all that works, the balances of the energies. And at first we're, in that high vibe energy, but then they start getting into a different level. So if they're jealous of us, they're going to try to squash us down, and they're just not comfortable at the normal level. So their brain is wired different. They haven't gone through the healing process, because they just would rather be stuck in that. Because if you are going through CPTSD now, you know how uncomfortable it is. And it's where sometimes, we get stuck in that pattern. We're addicted to hurting at this time, even though it hurts. A lot of us look at the past. How can we fix it? How can we do the past, as opposed to what am I going to do today? What is the future like? That we become addicted to our abusers. We become addicted to being abused, in a sense. So if that is relatable in any way, when we try to understand the narcissist, that's a little tidbit to kind of get us to understand what they're going through. Their brains aren't making the connections. They're getting frustrated, and it's just a different state of mind. So they have to go back to that chaos. They have to fight for approval. That's what they want. They want that chase of approval. So when we give it to them, it's like the end product. Like if you spent your whole life to be, let's say, an Olympic athlete. So you are looking forward to it. That is your life. Everything you are working for. Oh, then you got the trophy. Now what? Now, now what? Uh, it's over. And that's kind of what they're like in the relationship is, do I get this person? Do I get this person? What can I do to get them? Because they were in that state of mind, whether it's walking on eggshells to appease the parents, not to upset them, this and that, or to prove their worthiness to their parent that yes, they are the best football player, or they will make the cheer team, or star of the play, or whatever, that the seeking of approval is the adrenaline that they need to keep going. Just like you hear some people, that retire and, they die real close to the retirement. They feel like there's nothing left to live for. Not everybody goes through that, but it's interesting on how all these things interplay. So the narcissist, they have to keep things chaotic. But then there comes times when we stand up for ourselves and the game isn't going good. We're changing the rules on them. They want the rules their way. And a lot of times they don't know how to play fair. But I wanted to address that because we're like, we were good, loving people. We did everything. We have to be careful too that we don't do too much. When we do too much, it throws off the balance where the 11 to 1, 11 positives to 1 negative. If you go more, then it destroys relationships anyways, because people take that for granted. And it's sad when people take things for granted, but they see it as lesser value because they don't have to invest in it. You know, your animal is probably more important to you than my animal because you raised it. I'm investing in my dog, but you're investing in what is yours. And, it's interesting how the more you invest in things, you're going to have more pride in things if you built it. They have, what is it, Kia, that people have more appreciation and attachment to the furniture that they build as opposed to furniture that they buy. It can be the exact same piece of furniture, but when people build it, they have a sense of pride in it. And the narcissist, um, they didn't invest. It was like we gave them the relationship, we gave them the furniture. And I'm not saying it's your fault. At first, it seems like we're doing, both of us, teamwork, but then they slack off. And when they slack off, they're not investing. And when they're not investing, they're not appreciating. And that's how it falls apart because they have to have the adrenaline rush. And that's not where we were when we grew up. We grew up a little either more healthy, not everybody had a good childhood, but we coped with it. We learned from it. Maybe we had supportive teachers and our parents weren't, or we had good parents, but we still had some trauma from outside forces. But we like safety. And the narcissist, they take advantage of what we offer, but they need that chaos. That's how they survive. And they're going to do it to the new supply too. It just is a matter of time. Hope that was helpful.